My name is Ernestine Standberry. Everybody knows me here. I'm director of the International Prolife Federation. Today is a really good day for me. You know, it's a day where I thought it was going to be a catastrophe here. But I ran into two lovely young ladies here at KNTV, and one is a director of the Hollywood Dream Girls. Her name is Moore. And what is your name again? Casherelle. You know, this is what a lot of times you think, you know, well, okay, I just need to do this and I need to do this, but I really need to do this because I represent motivating young ladies. I represent motivating women to have children. You know, the International Pro-Life Federation, we encourage people to have their children and look at it as a gift of life, that you don't have to stop doing what you're going to do. You're going to always, you know, have problems in life, but a child is a gift from God. So we promote that. We don't promote abortion. The point is, today is just a day where I'm just glad to have these young ladies here. I would like to do anything that I can do to help the agenda of the Hollywood Dream Girls. That's a very fantastic name, and it's a name that you might hear a whole lot about, especially if you deal with me. Yeah. I'm going to put it out there for you.
Okay, I like to hear that. I like to hear that.
Crystal,
I need that.
Just tell me a little bit about, you know, you said you got 40 young ladies, and you know, you're out there doing things to help motivate the girls in the community.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. My name is Crystal Moore again, and yeah, I run the program inside the Boys and Girls Clubs called Hollywood Dream Girls. It's built to inspire young girls through fashion and modeling, through a series of workshops and fashion shows.
Wonderful.
The girls in this program is ages 6 to 18 years old.
Wonderful.
And I started off with my daughter, which is 6 years old, and my cousins, and now I expanded to 44 girls, and I'm expanding to grow bigger.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what have you all done? Have you done anything, you know, recently, or are you just in the process, or what is?
Oh yeah, we had done a lot of things recently. We did a fashion show at the Boys and Girls Club for Christmas. We did a fashion show for the senior citizens over on Jackson and Laramie, on the west side of Chicago. We did a fashion show for Patricia Van Pelt-Watkins. She's running for senator now for the 5th district.
Yeah, I met her.
She's a very great person. So we did her Christmas party. So we had the younger youth to model over there. So we doing a lot of stuff. We're doing a lot of stuff. We're giving back. We feed different shelters, you know, Christmas and different holidays. So.
And so these girls, what do they have to do to get into your organization? I mean, is a certain qualification that they have to have?
All they have to do is the Boys and Girls Club require a $20 fee a year. And I think it's all the Boys and Girls Club requirement over Chicago. And that's all. They have to be a part of the membership of the Boys and Girls Club too, and they automatically in my program.
Oh, and, wonderful. So you're like connected with the Boys and Girls Club?
Not really connected. It's more like they let me have the space over in there.
Wonderful.
You know, so yeah.
Oh, really? So you have your own meeting space?
Yeah, I have my own. Yeah, everything I do is my own thing. It's separate from the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
It's just that I was blessed, you know.
And blessed to get that space donation and, you know, the area for you to do whatever you want to do.
And it's right by my home. And I started off in my house, so this is really a blessing for me because at first a lot of parents didn't want their kids to be doing things inside of a home. So that's what drew me to the Boys and Girls Club. And when my first time went in there, she said, you come back. And I went back, and I've been there ever since.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I want to do anything I can to help, and I know the media really helps to get out what you're trying to do, you know.
I need it now. I've been doing it for 3 years now on my own, and I need everything right now. That's what I'm here for today. I was coming to set up my own shows just so I can let people know what I'm trying to do, what I've been doing. And there's a lot of girls that want to start stuff and do things, but it's really hard. So what I'm trying to do is get out there with myself to show them how I'm trying to do it, you know. From scratch.
Right, right. And you know, you can turn in shows here too, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Turn in a lot of stuff, DVD minus, or you just turn it in and dub it, turn in your stuff from the outside. It doesn't necessarily have to be studio. But, you know, one thing I like sometimes sitting here in the studio, because KNTV is, to me, I think it's one of the greatest kinds of outreach, because freedom of speech, we need to keep that alive.
Yeah.
And people to know you're actually down here in the studio, to first of all, and to kick it off. Just like I could say this is a kickoff for what you want to do, because, you know, a lot of my shows, they go up anyway on YouTube, you know.
Okay.
And, you know, whatever you're trying to do, you know, I want to encourage
and
that.
These girls, it's all sizes. They can be any size, any shape. We're not trying to write them off. It's just that girls want to model from their heart.
Yeah.
So they can be 10 pounds.
Well,
we don't care.
That's good.
You
that's
need
good.
them.
That's good that you don't have that standard.
No, we don't have to be.
You don't have that standard.
We don't have to be 5'8" or 130 pounds. We need you to be comfortable with yourself and just want to do it from your heart.
Yeah.
Because I know that all girls are not the same size.
Right.
You know, I'm 5 feet myself, and I don't think a 5'8" girl can represent what I wear. You know.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I'm trying to get the girls to be comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
To model, you know, have fashion go as possible as high as we can with the modeling thing.
Whatever, you know, because you can look good, whatever
you put on,
whatever size.
Whatever size you is.
It's good to encourage that, too.
Yeah.
I think it's good to encourage that because, you know, so many times you see, you know, people want everybody to look the same way, you know. They want the same size, the same way.
And it's a struggle, and it's a struggle.
And to encourage it early in life is a good thing because, you know, everybody's not going to be a size 8 or 5.
No,
you know?
change every day.
You know?
Yep.
So
we don't want our weight to change, and we got to change. I can't be a model because I gained some weight. As long as you can still have the attitude to do it, you know, let's get it did. And not our girls got so much talent and so hidden because it's hard for us to get scammed going to these auditions and stuff for the girls to get on, you know, to be on different shows. So I'm just trying to break through with a group of girls, group of kids, you know.
And do you all have you encourage education? I know.
Oh yeah, we do all kind of workshops. Our workshops is built on modeling, so they got to be a part of the workshops and not even do the modeling part. So I had different people coming out talking about STDs to the older girls, different writing skills, different things going on. So even learn myself. I'm learning a lot myself. You know, we're doing this program. Yeah. You know, because I'm only 25 myself, so I'm learning a lot. Yeah. A lot. I'm learning a lot every day. I learn something new. I try to change to go in a better direction for myself. You know, we learn from each other every day.
Are most of the girls in high school, or do some of them out of school, or do some of them have children?
Most of the girls are in high school. Most of the girls are all the girls are in high school. All of my girls now are in school. So
some of them have children?
No, none of them have children, not right now. So we trying to, you know, prevent that. That's why I'm got the program going on to build their self-esteem, trying to have a home away from home, you know. So, you know, they're not there, they can become through there. So that's what I'm trying to really stay away from, you know. But if it do happen, I'm like your organization. Yeah,
you know, we want to encourage them to have a child, you know. I mean, it don't have to stop nothing. Right. You know, it's just that you might just have to slow down.
And that's what we scared of. We scared that if you have kids, you know, girls my age, and, you know, we have babies, you know, we feel like our life is on hold.
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, though. That's what I'm saying. And so many people are letting you know that, you know, you know, you have something to maybe even inspire you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And children do inspire you. You know, this young lady, she's looking really beautiful, pregnant, you know. Yeah. So I know she's expecting a nice, healthy baby, girl or boy, you know.
A baby boy.
Y'all having a baby shower or anything?
Yeah, we having a baby shower on March 3rd. Yeah, March 3rd.
Wonderful.
We having a baby shower.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, and it's good we have someone like you, you know, your age group saying that, because most women your age, they saying that don't have, you know, they beating it up so bad. So it's good to have someone.
You know what? I have met ladies my age who really, I hate to see this because I'm with the Prolife Action League. Okay. So we have, back here in Christmas, we were doing the caroling. And what we do, when we do the caroling, the Prolife Action League, that's the group that have the big posters of aborted children. I know you've heard about them or seen them. Well, anyway, we just stand with these posters, and these are children that have been aborted, and they've been around for years, and we're just like a up-in-your-face type of a non-violent group, and I'm usually with them. So now we went to, during the Christmas season, we go to the abortion centers, and we do the caroling. And what I hate to see is that you got grandmothers and you got mothers, and you know, you got, it was just so devastating to me this past Christmas, because the grandmothers are going with the daughters to get abortions, the mothers, you know what I mean, they encouraging it. And as a matter of fact, and then like I looked at one group, it looked like it was a Puerto Rican group, you know, they come in groups. I said, well, the Puerto Rican group looked like they had 4 or 5 people coming for this one girl that had this abortion. I thought, you know, I did it before, you know, my testimony is on the internet. That's why I'm called to try to stop it. But I stood there and I said, thank God I was alone, because I said, thank God everybody was dead, because just think how you would feel if your grandmother and your mother was taking you to the abortion centers. But they were taking these girls, you know, now. And that's what I hate, though. I hate to see that. I hate to see the grandmothers and the mothers taking the girls to the abortion centers, you know, and the boyfriends. Everybody coming now. You know, when I did it, you didn't.
They're trying to stop it. They're trying to stop the cycle. We don't have a way of doing it, you know, and that's the approach of doing it. You know, you get pregnant, they want to do it that way. But that's what they're actually trying to stop the cycle. You know, they're not trying to let their kids have 4 kids like they did. So I guess that's the way they're trying to do it.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Most of them be telling me, you know, I'm in groups now with older women, and see, the point is, though, when you go into the churches and you're older and you're reading the biblical scriptures, and the biblical scriptures are definitely telling you, just like Psalms 139, 13 and 16. Now the Bible says, okay, the Lord knew us all before we was in the womb. He knew the number of our days. He knew what we were going to do. Now you read Psalms 139, 13 and 16. He knew you before you even got into your mother's womb. Okay, now I didn't know that when I was doing that. The preachers don't preach it either. And the point is, if you go on a Bible study, I try to tell these ladies, if you go on the Bible study on Wednesday, try to read that. Because one of the things that discouraged me with the church is a sleeping giant. See, the churches are not saying anything about how wrong it is. Now, if the Lord knew us before we was in the room, don't you know it's a real terrible thing to be killing these babies? Oh, yeah, and then it's legalized. Alveda King is also in the pro-life movement. That's Martin Luther King's niece. And one of her statements, she said, the greatest civil rights movement is to overturn Roe v. Wade. That is so true.
What is that?
Roe v. Wade is a law that was instituted January the 22nd, 1973, where it became legal to have abortion. Okay. It was an illegal law set up by, we call her, McCorvey was her name, but they use Roe versus Wade legally. But well, she really had her baby anyway, but they used that case to pass that law, you know. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. When she say the greatest civil rights movement is to overturn Roe v. Wade, that means, you know, to stop that, legalize abortion. Because in the black community now, you know, we've got black genocide going on. In the black community, we were like 12% at one time of the population in America. It's going down to 11%. And the abortion rate is higher than any other race, you know, because, you know, if you got, when I look at the fact that if you got these grandmothers and mothers encouraging it, well, I know it's probably higher, you know, because they just shouldn't encourage it still. I mean, you can talk to your children, and you try to encourage abstinence and or protection. If it happens, though, you know, I just hate to see the mothers going there, because usually the parents are supposed to be good people. The parents and the grandmothers and the mothers are sitting in churches, you know. Yeah. And you're sitting in churches doing what then? And then the preachers, what are you saying when you preaching? You're not ever preaching about it. And this is one problem I have, because I know a lot of ministers. So then I'm trying to get a lot of them. I say, well, you want to come on the show and preach against abortion? You know, I have such a struggle with that because the preachers, well, you know, I have to give what God tells me to say. I said, well, can't you use something in the scriptures? You know, y'all go to the scriptures, you know. Well, it's like, you know, it depends on if God asks me to speak on it. I have to struggle to get that. It's hard. And then you don't hear it in the churches now. Right. If girls was going to the preachers and hearing that, a lot of them wouldn't even have abortions anyway, you know. Because
they believe they preaching.
Yeah, believe that God said it's a sin and it's a terrible sin. We don't have the right to terminate life, you know. But they don't preach it, and that law passed. So, you know. But I just, this past Christmas, I was just so sad to see older women and there's so many older women who really agree with it, though, you know. So how is this young person going to, if you got older people who are encouraging, you know, terminating your child, then, you know, what has that young person got, who has she got to look forward to, you know? Right. And so I try to connect people with people who help. It's like they have places even like this. They have a place, I know, even on so far as this new type of a child care. I know the lady is, in other words, like this. Okay, on the weekend, say for instance, if you want to go out, they have an organization that lets, you know, you come and take your child for child care over the weekend. And it's called the Maryville.
Wow.
Yeah, but see, they had that in the suburbs, but they didn't have it for black people. So they a lot of the girls on the south side, they end up going to the north side though to take their child to the north side.
Yeah.
So they'll keep your child overnight or for 2 or 3 days, so your child will end up in DCFS. See, it's like a temporary thing.
Babysitting place for your child.
Yeah, a temporary child care, and you have to register with them. I got all the information at home.
Wow.
Because they don't support. They don't. It's been in the suburbs available to the suburban people all the time.
Okay.
It has not been available to inner city young ladies.
Okay.
In other words, if sometimes you do need a break, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, then they have a nice place for you to take your child, and your child will be very well taken care of till that next day or that 2 days later. You know,
to give you a break.
To give you a break.
That's good.
The best thing is to be honest with the people and tell them, okay, you know, like, well, I'm going out on the weekend. I'm going.
Yeah, I like the organization. I like
that type of thing is what encourages people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You say, well, okay, I'm on the weekend. I'm going to be going to Vegas, or I want to go take a trip. You just tell them exactly.
They need that program in the city.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. See, they're on the north side, and they're mostly closer to the north side. And what I know exactly the lady's name. I got it in my cell phone.
You can give me information. I can give it to other young women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that.
I got it's the Maryville something, but I got the lady's name in my cell phone. I give you all the information because they have to interview you, and they have a lot of help services. They try to help young ladies, you know, when they have you know, they need apartments and whatever.
Oh, that's good.
But what I like about that thing about, you know, they don't let you just like drop your child off anywhere. You can have your child in a safe environment over the weekend or overnight.
And that's a good. I like the program. You know,
see, that's adult. Yeah. That's an adult type of thing that's attractive to any mother. She knows she got somewhere to take her child. You know, they do require you, if you schedule an appointment and a time for your child to be picked up and dropped off, you have to definitely, you know, pick them up at the time you say you're going to pick them up. They have to have an emergency number where they can contact you, you know. But that's child care. Yeah, and you're not paying for it.
I like it.
You see what I'm saying? All you do is register with them.
Yeah.
And then they also have a lot of other help services and social services to help you. When she told me, the lady, I met her here, and she was on my show, but she says that this type of thing has been available in the suburbs, but is not available in the inner city because they really, truly, if I heard from the Chinese churches, they really struggle to get black children in DCFS. I mean, you know, most of the time, you know, they said 65,000 children a year going in DCFS. The majority of them will be African-American children, you know. They want them to be African-American children. I don't know, you know, and so, you know, you're not going to find too many Nigerian children or any, but it's African-American, you know, and they're concentrating on the African-American. It's like with the men, you know, they're concentrating on the African-American man going into the penitentiary, you know, the new Jim Crow. You know, and like I tell the boys in my neighborhood, and I live at 91st and Dobson, so on the corner, somebody is always getting shot there. So when I go, they call me mom, so they know me, you know. And I said, well, now, if these people come here and tell y'all to get off this corner, get off the corner. Because if they come back and then you don't want to move and they lock you up, well, you got a year. You go in there for 1 whole year just because you refuse to get off the corner, you know. And these are the kind of things that's just programmed into our race. So you need more people advocating to let people know what's really going on, you know.
Yes, that's what
you need any kind of help service that you can get when you're younger, especially when you got children.
Yes, because it's hard. It's hard.
You know, and especially if they know you're working, you know. And it's probably so many other things this organization got going. It's just that I do know what encouraged me to find out about that. That just appealed to me. I never heard of that type of thing.
I never heard of it either. I like it.
Yeah.
About this organization that you was talking about, so it's only available for the people on the north side?
No, it's available for you.
Nationwide people?
No, it's available for the people in Chicago.
Okay.
I mean, it's an organization that hasn't been around too long, but like I say, it was always available, they say, in the suburbs. See, it was available for suburban people.
Okay, you pushing that good because I'm feeling that. I can expose this to a bunch of girls, that need babysitters because it's good. Because when I go on cruises a lot and they have a place, they have a daycare on the cruise, so I'm able to have a nice time myself and go back and get my daughter, rather than me being depressed and, someone dropping off and someone lying and calling DCFS, because people do all kind of stuff these days. So you got to be careful with your kids. So it's really good. I like that program. I'm going to try to push it. So before I leave, make sure you give me information.
Yes.
I need it.
I'm going to definitely get, and I liked it, and I had never heard of that type of stuff, and encouraging you for parenting and being a mother and a lot of things to, like you want to go back to school, they said they have now programs for girls who have their baby, like for instance they don't have anywhere to stay. I heard that they have a lady started this place where they should let the ladies stay there free for 5 years, to get on their feet. Yeah. But see, that's kind of stuff where we need that. You could stop a lot of the abortions that way, Yeah. And then what about the young ladies? And what I hate is that some of the young ladies that have abortions, they only have them because their parents are making them have them. Anyway, a lot of them don't want to have it. But then if you're living in your parents' house, then you have to have it. Yeah. So that's what's so terrible about that issue. So, like I say,
it's the struggle. We don't know how to break the ties. So what we do is, we go out and have abortions, because it's hard to break the ties. We don't know how to really take our kids in different directions. So we don't want them to go and have 4 kids like, our mother did, my mother did. People want to try to limit it. So that's what they do. And they trying to have an abortion. They thinking that they stopping them from doing something, which they're gonna have the kids anyway.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
And that's what they want. And the point is, the banks. When I found out that the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, okay, then you have Bank of America, you have J.P. Morgan Chase. See, I'm with Occupy Chicago. So when I was down there beating the drums, the man that knew, he called off 4 banks. Now, these banks actually profit by sponsoring abortion. Wow. And when you think, okay, it's a bigger issue than what you think. See, that issue of that abortion issue is bigger than what we think. Here you got the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase. But see, the way they do it, and I'm going to get the real understanding, but by sponsoring abortion, they profit. See, it ain't just like they're sponsoring it to help society. It's like they're doing it because some kind of way they get more money back off of killing babies. That's why you have to see. We have to really bring what's really happening.
You still give them assistance some money because they.
Yeah. You have to really, and just like I have, I work with Mark Crutcher. He used to be big with the car industry. He got a show called Life Talk. So he is he got an organization called Life Dynamics. It's a documentary out called My Alpha 21. That's a Swahili word for tragedy. But the 21st century is about abortion, how the law got passed. And so I got a couple of shows on YouTube. I got Life Talk. When you go to YouTube, all of my stuff will start out IPF, International Prolife Federation. Okay. Then it'll say Life Talk, January show. But if you listen to some of those shows, you'll find out so much what's going on that we don't even think all this kind of stuff is going on with that when they pass that law. It's a bigger thing, really, than just say women say, well, I'm gonna terminate this baby. And Mem Rose is a friend of mine. She was saying, you ought to write your story. I said, I might write it, because I got a story to tell on that. It might encourage other young girls not to do it, Yeah. So
all we do need to just hear,
Yeah.
Because you the first person
here and then let me say here and then have information on where you go and get help. Yeah. I'm basically a Mennonite and religiously, and Mennonite people believe in showing you rather than preaching to you.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's
that's
like
what we need.
if you need help, if you need
you can guide someone that way.
Yeah, and if you don't have no money, well, you know, those kind of things is what people need to know. When they have the problem, you need to know, okay, well, how can I get help? You know,
right.
how can I have a place to stay? You know, that's maybe not a shelter, or I got longer term living arrangements. You know, so a lot of these kind of organizations are coming up, and believe it or not, a lot by black women too.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I heard about one on the South Side. You know, when they said she let you stay there 5 years. I got to get more information about it.
Get more information about that, because all girls need help. You know, we all need help, and that's what, you know, that's what we're probably afraid of. You know, it's not scared. You know, won't have any help. So we all need help. We need to encourage to help each other. You know.
That's right. So
that's what.
So it's just like a lot of things that's happening today. You know, when I think about what people have to go through today, it's like I'm 67, and I say, well, I feel glad about being my age. You know what I mean? Because you know the stress is just
it's stressful. It's stressful.
You know, just imagine how you got to struggle to try to go to school without being murdered, and you know.
Yeah.
You know, you got to still bring your children up. So the world ain't all bad, no. I mean, we still got to raise our children. You still got to raise your children.
Yeah.
You know. I got grandchildren, so we still got to keep living in it, regardless. You know.
That's the scary part, ain't it? But I guess it'll be okay.
So that's the scary part.
Yeah,
you got
to stay here. You know, you right here.
You got to still keep living in it.
Yeah, you got to live and make it right. Look for something to happen for the day. So face your problem. I think that's in the Bible. Face your problems. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what we look for. Wake up, looking for the problem. What they had?
And then say, okay, what is this problem going to teach me?
Yeah, what's going to teach? Learn, willing to learn, accept.
Yeah, what is this problem going to teach me? And you know, that's really a way to look at a problem. Like I got to get something out of this. Like, I got to learn, you know, or I got to make it a challenge, you know. But they come into you back to back. So now we're all worried about economics, you know, and that's, you know, because of the war. Saturday, I was going to tell you this part. Saturday, I went to, whoa. He's telling me
it's over with.
It's almost. He said, "Well, Ernestine, we talked half an hour." I'm glad we did. I'm glad
we
have you
on. I was
on.
happy to be here.
You know what? It's been really nice meeting you. Nice meeting you, young ladies. You know what? I'm gonna have you back. You know you're gonna come on here and do a show.
I'm gonna be seeing you a lot real soon.
Oh yeah.
I'll be seeing a lot real soon. 'Cause I got my shows that I'm doing. You know. Real life. You know, my stuff together. So.
Yeah. Well, you gotta come.